When people ask me that question, what do you do? I have to tell you that saying I'm a yoga teacher is kind of the very smallest part of the answer. It's like the tip of the iceberg. So the answer that I give now is to the question, what do I do, is I be me in the form of anything that presents. So I serve sometimes in the form of sharing myself in the form of teaching yoga. Sometimes it's sharing myself in the form of intuitive spiritual counsel. Sometimes it's sharing myself in the form of quantum healing hypnosis technique or alchemy of meditation and alchemy of breath. Sometimes it's just by standing in the right place, in the right time, letting someone know that I see them for who they are in truth. So that's become kind of the biggest part of service, which, by the way, is exactly what you said, if I may say. You didn't say it in those words, but you said like you're exhausted just kind of with all the doing. But your true service and mine is even less in the doing, like the doing are the details. So our service is in the being, and the ability to serve through the being came through the self-cultivation that you shared in your TED Talk and that I share in my stories as well.
I love when you talked about the doing versus the being. One of the things that I've helped people do is to sort of shift their thinking, because in this country that we live in, and probably other countries, because I've traveled as well, we get so caught up in the doing. We put together our to-do list. We put together our honey-do list. We put together all of these different lists. But what we need to start doing more of is putting together this to-be list. Again, we're grading kids on certain things that they do, but what about being kind? What about being present? What about being aware? And I think quite often those other doings cause us to be exhausted, but the being present can be challenging. Talk to me about some strategies that you use to help busy people to be present with all of the devices that they have and all the access, all the dopamine fixes that we're looking for, that we look forward to do. How are you helping people to be present?
Okay, now I love this question and thank you for asking it. And I also like the free flow of it. Right now, I'm going to refer to my yoga background, and I'm going to talk to you about the consciousness with which you conduct your practice is the same as the consciousness with which you conduct your life. So you're meant to learn it on the mat, to use it in your life. And most importantly, it's not even about the posture. So the posture is just what I'm going to call the tool we use to get there and the indication that we have. And let me give you an example of what I mean by that. So there is this posture called standing head to knee pose. It's Dandayamana Janusharasana, and it is a forward compression posture that is standing and balancing on one leg. And that posture is merely a tool that we use to learn how to concentrate and to stop, drop, and vortex and command everything we need. And by the way, more importantly, nothing that we don't. So once, and by the way, you have to be very flexible to get in this position, but you have to be very, very strong to hit it and hold it in stillness against gravity. And so the posture is merely a tool that we use to learn how to concentrate, and being able to hit it and hold it in stillness against gravity is the indication that we have learned how to concentrate. So if I could just kind of keep the question flowing or the answer flowing, I want to tell you that I'm a little bit like the queen of the universe in backbending. And there's not a backbend I have not done. And you can see all the posts on the social media. I'm going to call it pushed into a lock, walking up the stairs, a steep staircase in a wheel. I've walked around blocks, and I've done backbends on the bimini of boats in rocky water and swinging on swings and so on and so on. And what I want to tell you, because this is even a more profound answer to your question, is that I'm never actually saying, oh, look what I can do. Look at this backbend. Look at this backbend. What I like to say to you is, let me tell you what I learned by doing this back bend. And let me tell you what I learned by doing that back bend. And since you and I have a deep love for inspiring youth, I'll tell you a personal story that's also actually very recent. And that is that there is a teenager that I coach for a world stage, and I call that daring to believe in yourself in the form of standing on the X. And she's a very, very accomplished girl with grace and intelligence and mindfulness, yet she's just in the heat of it all. She's in the thick of it all. She's in the high school years with, APs and college applications, and she does Bollywood dance and of course the yoga, and she's just got a full plate, and she's starting to feel just really a lot of stress. And so I have the privilege, I get to help equip her with life skills that are the lessons in yoga. And the first one is very important. It's what I've already touched on, and that is that concentration facilitates meditation. And the meditation facilitates transformation. And what that looked like in a short form is that I helped her cultivate a practice of what I call long hold wheel. And by the way, you mentioned breath just in the introduction. So the conversation just gets kind of more and more expansive because I teach on every level of being. It's not gymnastics, it's yoga. So the first and most important thing is that when you're doing these back bends, it's not even about bending your spine backwards. It's about connecting to calm, deep breath while you bend your spine backwards. Because if you can breathe there, then you can spend time there. And if you can spend time there, then you can calm down there. And if you can calm down there, then you can do some work there. And if you can do some work there, I like to say, then you can get to know yourself in that position and love your life in that position.